Hey, it's Debbie Dairy Bear here, the voice of Zatch Bell, introducing you to the Anime Egotists channel. Glad you could be here. Zatch Bell is glad you could be here. Enjoy!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where any wars in anime, they would just tell us, no, you guys can sit this one out.
Yeah, it's not like we're too powerful or not powerful enough. It's just they don't want us there.
Exactly. My name's Alex, and as much trouble as it would be in, part of me as a kid always did want to be like, yeah, let's do a food fight, but part of me in hindsight's glad I never did.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to. I know that my school paid to have where we could pay to have be in the cafeteria and do one, but I don't remember when that was. It was sometime in elementary school, and I'm Richard.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, and we're back. And we've talked about anime moments that have made us sad. We've talked about anime moments that make us happy. But there's also a little bit of a different one where it's like, there are moments in anime that make us angry. And while sometimes that's a good thing, other times it's not.
Yeah. This time we're going to be talking about the moments that made us angry and that not for the right reason. It took us either out of the story or didn't really do anything to lead to characters being important or liked in any sort of way.
Yeah. In some cases, we could say these moments made us rage quit and just be like, no, we're not. Like, I like this character less. I like this show less. Just shows that made us angry for just pissed us off. But I feel like we're dilly-dallying at this point. Would you like to start us off?
I can. So my first one is one I've talked about before. Makarov Dryer didn't die in Fairy Tail. So Makarov is the leader or master of Fairy Tail throughout the series, and it's heavily implied during the final arc. He casts Fairy Law, which is one of their most important, strongest spells, and he's kind of left in this comatose, but it's implied that he's dead in the series. But then it's revealed, oh, he just entered in a coma. But he gives this big speech to the rest of Fairy Tail saying, now it's your turn. Step up. I'm sacrificing myself so that y'all can survive, and this is your moment. Defeat, I think this is Alvarez, and go on to rebuild Fairy Tail and make sure Fiore is safe. And we get through all the final battles and all this, and then he kind of wheels out in a wheelchair and he's pretty much perfectly fine, or it's implied that he's perfectly fine. And it's just one of those moments where this would have been the perfect passing of the torch. He sacrificed himself in a major war arc to save the rest of Fairy Tail by casting a spell that defeats all the grunts. So there's no more grunts now. They just have the big bads left to fight. And again, I know that's kind of mean to want somebody to be dead, but it feels like it would have influenced the story more. It changed. Somebody else now steps up as the true next guild master, because we've had Urza be guild master for a few episodes. We've had other I can't remember what his name is, but the one guy during the where the time skip, and then Gildarts has been guildmaster, and none of them remain for more than a few episodes in the series. So it's just, I don't know. It would have been a nice moment of a true passing of the torch. The next generation is now in charge of Fairy Tail.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. It would be similar to if in Naruto, when they did during the Konoha Crush arc, when Hiruzen says, Orochimaru, the one thing I regret is that I couldn't take you with me, with the Reaper Death Seal. I almost said something else. And then he wakes up, it's like, oh, hey, guess I'm good.
Yeah, it was like he talks all this big bad, and then it's like, oh, he's in a coma. Oh, and by the end of the Sasuke retrieval arc, he's recovered and ready to go again.
Yeah, but I can understand, especially after a giant speech where it's like, I'm showcasing the person I am. I'm throwing you the character I am, and I'm leaving it up to the rest of you. Because they could be, because then it shows they're ready to step up because they've lost a key important figure. But if he's still alive, then it's like, oh, well, guess they don't have to step up at quite as much.
Yeah. So this is it. It's a moment that I feel like it it doesn't ruin the show, no, but it does it just hamper my ability to truly love the ending of this original series just a tiny bit, and it takes me out. Luckily, it's at the very end, so you kind of make it through. You've already made it through the rest of the series, and he's just brought back in like the recap part of it. So,
Yeah, I can definitely co-sign though. I understand that.
all right. So your first one,
All right. Jaden, Cyrus, and Hasselberry abandon Bastion, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
okay.
So throughout the Society of Light arc, it's kind of shown that students are getting brainwashed, but Bastion's wondering, why haven't I been sought out by this group? And his low self-esteem is really starting to kick in at this point because he hasn't won a lot lately. So Bastion decides to challenge Sartorius, but Sartorius says battle Chaz instead. If Bastion wins, then Sartorius would release his grip on Chaz and Alexis. Yes. And the whole time when Bastion's preparing his deck and he goes off to duel, Aster's kind of watching over him. Aster, who I wouldn't necessarily say he and Bastion are friends at this point, but he tells them, hey, so are you sure your friend Bastion's going to be okay? Hey, and they say, what are you talking about? Are you saying he couldn't beat Chaz and save everybody? He's like, no, he can. He just wouldn't want to. Bastion wants a place to belong, and the Society of Light is kind of like a cult. So if he loses and becomes part of it, then he'll feel like he has a place to belong. In some cases, you might think, wow, that's actually pretty cool of Aster to warn them about stuff like that. Unfortunately, while all of this is going on, Jaden and the others are fishing because they're hungry. Hey, and right when it looks like, oh, maybe we should go help Bastion and make sure he feels better, the fish start popping up and they say, oh, Bastion can wait. I feel like Yugi would never do that. Yugi would be like, oh, one of our friends has the mildest inconvenience. Let's go help them. Had they shown up and said, hey, Bastion, we have your back. You belong with us. We believe in you. They might have been able to save him. But just to be like, we have fish to catch. Like, just I know it's supposed to be kind of a funny moment, but it makes them come across as horrible friends.
It really does, and it even feels out of character for Jaden. He's while he can be kind of selfish in some moments, when it comes to like rooting for one of his friends in a duel, he always shows up. And then, so for him to decide that he doesn't need to because, oh, I'm a little hungry, it does feel out of character for him as well, especially one that's supposed to be this important.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't feel, and the end of the episode, like it's like, oh my God, Bastion's part of the society, and it leaves on this haunting image. But at the same time, I never feel like they want to say, hey, we weren't there for you. We're sorry. They never apologize for it. Or on top of once again, you ruined Bastion being one of my favorite characters, but just to be like, they just, it's not that they couldn't save him. It's just like they're just like, well, we gotta eat. Because the food in the
Yeah.
Slifer dorm's not that good, despite the fact that two of them are from the raw dorm and they have lobster. So the whole thing is stupid. It makes me dislike them.
Yeah. It could have been a nice, I mean, maybe if they were like being starved out or something, like, there wasn't an option for food because it another part I don't like about this is that it's implied that Jaden likes the food at the Slifer Red Dorm because,
Exactly.
from season one. So the fact that he isn't willing to like just eat that food and move on, it's disappointing.
And you might be thinking, well, is this more of a dub or a sub thing? Well, based on from what I've seen of the sub, it's not like the reasoning changes all that much. They're still fishing when this is going on, and Aster still has to tell them what's going on. By the time they show up, it's too late. Rather than sitting down with Bastion and being like, hey, you haven't won a lot, but you're still a valuable asset to us, and we all care about you.
Yeah, I will co-sign. I think this is just one of those moments, and it's again leads to kind of the unfortunate situation Bastion finds himself in because he's a member of the Society of Life, but he's not even brainwashed. It's just he chooses to be a part of it at that point.
And then he bleaches his hair completely white. And then they don't even save him. Like he just realizes where the problem's wrong, and then he strips down to his boxers and runs off.
Yep.
And he's
Yeah.
surprisingly jacked for. Never mind.
But yeah, I'll co-sign.
All right, what's your next one?
All right. My next one is Sakura tells Naruto she loves him in Naruto.
I'm so glad I took this off my list.
Okay, it just it throws something in because Naruto just was already a little out of character in the episodes leading into this because he begs uh, the Raikage to spare Sasuke, and just the combination of everything. This moment, it makes me dislike Sakura more. And I was somebody who, well, I didn't think Sakura was the most useful character. I wasn't one of those that went around saying, "Oh my God, she's the most useless character in the entire series." She really isn't, but this just added to my like. It made me dislike Sakura, and I'm not one who never really hated her up until this point.
Yeah, not to mention, like, it's a case of it's like, well, if Naruto's been in love with me for so long, so if I can get him to look at me and not Sasuke, then he won't feel so bad when Sasuke dies. It's, at the same time, though, like, no, fortunately, Naruto is smart enough to realize this is bull and shut it down. But
Mhm.
hypothetically, what would have happened if he wasn't? What would have happened if he went along with it and didn't realize? It could have ruined their friendship forever.
Yeah, this could have serious repercussions of some of like the relationship between them falling apart or and could have led to like many other things. Like Sasuke could have probably would have killed Sakura because they didn't react in time or something.
Yeah. Yeah, not to mention like the all other like little bit of knife in the wound, kind of like, yeah, Rock Lee is right there. I'm not saying you have to reciprocate his feelings, but like, good lord, you did not read this well.
Yeah, and yeah, so it's just again, it takes you out of the series, unfortunately, and it's kind of a low point for the entire series, in my opinion, when it comes to uh like all that's happened in recent episodes. Because this is kind of following Sasuke coming out as now I work for the Akatsuki and all that. I've replaced Itachi.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and it's also and to anybody who's been like, well, it's like Sakura's not useless. Sakura's not useful. I'm like, you're right, she's not. But just because someone's useful doesn't mean I have to like them. And that moment's right there is when I point out, and people are like, I understand why people don't like Sakura. Because once again, Sakura, as somebody once said, Sakura's not useless. She's annoying. That moment
Mm-hmm.
didn't help.
Yeah, yeah, she has some good moments, but is this, in my opinion, is her worst moment. It throws everything just out of balance for a couple episodes. I think if I remember correctly, I even took a break for a week or two because we were watching as it was coming out at this point, and I think I took a step back and went, okay, I need some time before I watch anymore.
Ironically, this was the part where I came back to him, like, I've been out of Naruto for a little bit. Let me watch. Oh, sweet God, what is happening?
So you were probably binging or something at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
not a
think
good
this
point.
was
Not a
freshman
good
year
point.
of college, wasn't it?
Oh no, I don't. I actually don't remember when this was. I think this might have been high school. I don't know. Time's not real, so I can't really tell.
Yeah, but yeah, it was one of those. Just I was out of it for a little while.
Yeah, I can co-sign though. Sakura, you're not as nearly as horrible. You're not horrible for the reasons people describe, but to me, you're still horrible in some cases.
Yeah. All right. So your next one.
Tomoko's new club amounts to nothing. Watamote.
Okay.
All right, so what? So Tomoko wants to start a new club so she can make friends. I don't recall what the club specifically says that she wants to do, but regardless, she wants to do something. She wants to make friends, and as she's finally coming up with it, we get this montage of one girl joining and then another girl joining, more people join. We see her happy, we see everybody getting along, we get this cute little montage, only to realize that the montage itself is just a dream. In reality, we don't actually like the club gets denied for whatever reason, and the moments we see of Tomoko making friends, being happy, didn't actually happen. This feels especially cruel for the girl who's trying her hardest to overcome her anxiety, and then they're just like, no, that didn't actually happen. That's what you get. That's what you get for believing in her.
I hate that moment when you see somebody succeed and then they turn around and it's a dream. That's I think part of the reason I really didn't care for the um like Naruto dream sequences that we got for like 100 episodes, where everybody gets to see their life as how they want it, but it's just a dream. It's not perfect. It's just a little disappointing.
Yeah, and the worst part is it doesn't lead to her being like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna try hard next time." It just leads to, "Well, that's it. That's you failed. You I just don't even understand it because the show does such a good job of demonstrating when you feel bad for Tomoko, like, wow, she didn't deserve to go through what she went, or when it's a case of, wow, you she did something wrong and she's getting her comeuppance, so you don't necessarily feel bad for her. But this feels cruel. It just feels like it felt unnecessarily cruel.
Okay. Yeah. I can co-sign it. It's yeah, just that want to succeed, but then not having the emotional strength to actually do it.
Yeah. Like I said before, in the manga, it seems like she's much happier and she's making friends. But in that one moment, I'm just like, wow, that made me like the show less. What the hell?
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'll co-sign. I haven't seen all of it, so I don't know. I've seen bits and pieces.
Yeah,
All right. So my next one,
please.
I put how Ivy's family treats her after her ranking in the weakest tamer became or began a journey to pick up trash.
Okay.
So I've talked, I think, once about this before, how everybody turns on her because she's a rank 0. There's 3 ranks, and she gets like the non-existent one. It's such like before that she's like really loved by her family. Her parents care for her. Her brother is got like a rank 2, which makes him like really good for an outskirts village. And her sister is I think a rank 1, but got a really useful skill. So that uh Ivy gets her skill and it's great, but then she gets rank 0. And I really wish her family wouldn't necessarily have turned on, like, they turn on her instantly. Like, even the kids turn on her, like her siblings who may not fully understand turn on her instantly. But if it was like a slow process, even I could understand maybe the mom and dad turning on her because they're scared, because they grow up in this rural village in what is pretty much a medieval kingdom. So something like this happening would turn. I could see them turning on her, but I wish like at least her siblings would have gone through a slower progression of they treat her fine, but then they start getting told not to treat her fine, and it's you see the influence of the adults on her siblings, but her siblings automatically do it, and it's just kind of a little annoying because it takes you out of like it should all it shows is that okay, the kids didn't even get a chance to make their own decision. They knew because they knew.
Yeah. Especially considering, like, I would have even preferred if they had done like in the mystery dungeon game where you get run out of the town by Gengar and everyone else. But the kids and all the people you've helped individually, like, hey, we know you guys are innocent. We know you guys don't deserve to be treated like this. So we can't do much, but we can at least show you support. That would be more realistic in a sense. But just to be like, no, you're the problem. And I'm like, what are you, like 4, 5? What do you like? It comes across almost a little silly in some areas.
Yeah, I almost wish that the parents would have tried to support her, but then they get uh treated badly by like the rest of the village. Even maybe they get attacked, and it becomes a like like a transfer down. You can't. I don't really want to fully blame her family. I want there to be something that shows that they tried to take care of her, but because of the abuse that they faced, because of her being considered a curse on the village, leads to them slowly like losing it. They can't keep themselves together enough. Again, it's just they're only in the first few episodes. There's more of like the priest of the village is more of the bad guy that we see more of. So, but again, I wish that there was just a bit more progression and development of their betrayal of Ivy.
Yeah, because in some cases you were supposed to feel bad for her, and it's supposed to showcase that's like, well, if everybody's against her, then rooting for her makes it is all the easier. But sometimes it feels unrealistic and a little bit like overkill in a sense.
Exactly. So your next one?
Ryuji gets beaten up by the Phantom Thieves for saving their lives. Persona 5.
Okay.
Okay, so at the end of the Shido's palace, the whole ship they're on is exploding, and the Phantom Thieves have to get out in time. So Ryuji, who had suffered an injury earlier in the game, um, had finally somewhat more or less recovered, ran off, and got the boat for all of them to escape, only for the ship that part of the ship that he was on to explode. So, and when they get propelled out, no one knows where Ryuji is, and everybody's horrified, like, "Oh my God, we have to go back for Ryuji." And Morgana says, "We can't go back." We get some tears from Futaba, and An milks the hell out of this. I will give An's actress credit; she milks this to the point where, like, you feel horrible for her in particular. But Ryuji pops up, and everything's okay, only for them all to beat up on him for almost dying, even though he saved their lives.
Okay. I don't remember this, so I
The anime kind of glosses over it, which I will give the anime credit for. But the game makes me hate the fans of Thieves in that moment because it's like he saved your lives and you're beating him up for it because he worried you. But he saved your life. He's a hero, and this is how you're treating him, like you treat him the whole game. It makes them. And the fact it sucks. I hate it.
yeah, it sounds like it's a moment that takes you out because Ryuji's the first one that trusts you. So the fact that even I assume the Joker takes part in the beating him up.
Yeah, you want like I don't want to give this I have to give this credit because apparently in their files in the game that they just decided not to use. Apparently the cutscene is longer and it's mainly the girls beating up on him. But even Yusuke kind of steps in and is like, "Oh, how could you do this to us?" I'm like, "Okay, you suck officially." But even Morgana, to give Morgana some credit, even he's like, "Hey, he's okay. Can't we just be happy that he's back and we can all go home and sleep?" People are like, wow, you're making me like Morgana more, but only because everybody else is horrible. So it's one of those moments where even people who hate Ryuji go like, yeah, he didn't deserve this.
Yeah, because I mean, even like, yeah, this completely changes. Like, I see how it takes you out because throughout the series, Morgana's the one that I would have thought maybe would have been the one like not to care or like care too much or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And look, I've said before that I don't like doing oh, well, this series did things this way, so why can't other series do things this way? But remember when Joey woke up in Battle City and how everybody was so happy to see him? And even when there was a point where Tristan grabbed him by the shirt and said, "Don't ever scare us like that again." But he starts breaking down in tears like, "Oh, well, all the girls thought you were gone, but I knew you'd come back." Like, that made me go, "Oh my God, I feel for Tristan." This is one of my favorite Tristan moments because we see the kind person he is and how even when he's tough, he can still break down in sadness. Nothing like that here, but the fans of Thieves just actively suck for that.
Yeah, it sounds like it's not a good moment, especially because this is later in the game. So it's I can see that this could take you out of their relationship because it would have already had a chance to develop as much as it had.
Yeah. Minus 10 points for everybody in that scene, but more I'm giving your points to Morgana because I'm like, wow, I actually like Morgana more. But then that scene's in the deleted file, so I can't even feel like I can fully give Morgana credit. But yeah, once again, if even the people who hate Ryuji and they're allowed to be wrong, it's okay. Hey, if even they're like he didn't deserve that, everybody else sucked for that, you know you did something wrong.
Yeah. I'll co-sign. I need to play the rest of the game, but again, gotta get my other computer working again. So,
I gotcha.
all right. So my next one.
Please.
So I'm probably gonna mess up this name. Nobuyuki Sugo uh, attempted essay on Asuna in SAO.
Oh, I remember talking about this episode.
Yeah, so this is towards the end of part two of season one of SAO. It's pretty much Sugo is was Asuna's fiance, the um was it the like student to her father and the company, and the father just wants to create like make sure that he has an heir since Asuna's still in a coma at this point. And it's later revealed that he programmed it so that she got transferred into his own controlled virtual world in the fairy world that they go to in that series or part of the series. And uh, he keeps her trapped there, using this to like gain control because they're going to marry her in her comatose state to him so that gains access to everything that she has. And uh, when he finds out that Kirito really cares for Asuna, he pretty much freezes Kirito and attempts essay on Asuna. It's just it takes you out of the moment because he doesn't like. I can understand if maybe he had if they had made it seem like he did love her before she got trapped in the game, but this is just pure torture. He's doing this to torture them. He has no interest in Asuna whatsoever. He's just in it to take over the company. It throws everything out the window. It really hurts what was a very, in my opinion, interesting series up until this point about being trapped in video games and all that. So I can't condone it at all, and I hate this moment.
Yeah, and especially because some people might be arguing is like, well, if he's a bad guy, isn't he supposed to do bad guy things? Like, yeah, in a sense, yes, but I can understand how it's like, I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but almost seems laughably evil. Like it's just like this doesn't like completely line up.
Yeah. Well, it's there's other things like it's implied that he experimented on other people who were trapped in the original game to figure out like he tested other people before he did like knew what to do for Asuna. So like he may have killed people to before he did this. So he's already got these evil acts under his belt, like experimentations, all of this. He's got kidnapping now. It's just he's already a creepy guy. And the worst part about this is that um the guy who created this series didn't really learn from how uncomfortable this can make his fans because he does it again like 3 seasons later with like it's between two computer programs, but it's these are supposed to be computer programs that are the equivalent of a human. Like in this series they've developed AIs that are the equivalent of humanity in stuff. So and then it, just the combination of stuff. It's like okay, and I'm really just not as big a fan as I was hoping I would be of this series.
And some people still try to get me to watch Sword Art Online after all this. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why somebody would not watch this, especially if they've heard about this scene and again the one in later, like a couple seasons later.
That's why. Well, at first you don't succeed. Try. That's not even a good motto to have with this. But yeah, I can understand why you'd be like, oh, huh, this kind of ruins this kind of it hampers your enjoyment of the series significantly. I get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, I hate that he didn't really learn and come up with something different to be like the reason for it.
I understand
All right. So your next one.
that. I've been holding this back for a while, so I'll just say it. Danny gets sent back to the Mamodo world, Zatch Bell.
Okay.
Okay, so Danny meets Zatch, and his partner, Mr. Goldo, is kind of his dad, his father figure. Danny's kind of a little bit of a delinquent, but he's got a good heart. He's a good kid. And his job is to protect Mr. Goldo's statue. And Danny's spells kind of make him stronger. Not like shooting lightning or fire, but it makes his body impervious to different things. And the statue ends up getting left in the car, and the car is, and Danny's trying to hold the car up and be like, "Hey, we can still grab like we have to protect the statue and everybody else." But Zatch says, "Huh, I'm noticing something." Kyo notices is if anything happens to the car, or shoot. So he notices that if we need to destroy the car, because there's a if it doesn't, and we take too long, there could be a giant explosion that hurts and injures a lot of people. Oh, but then and Zatch goes, "Oh, wait a minute. Danny's book is in the limo. So if we destroy it now, then Danny will be sent back to the Mamodo world." But then he goes, wait a minute, but if we get the book back and cast a spell and Danny gets stronger, then maybe he could still survive. But then Mr. Goldel goes, no, he has to protect the statue. I'm like, what? He has to protect the statue? So you're willing to let him get sent back to the Mamoto world just for your stupid statue? I feel like this could be a better case of, no, I'm going to sacrifice the statue because of how much it means to me, because I've grown to care about Danny so much. Because even when they bickered, they still cared about each other. But in a sense, you're just saying, no, the statue's more important to me, so Danny has to be sent back. What?
Yeah. I mean, that's like saying like, I mean, any inanimate object is more important than the one I call Danny Boy. I've nicknamed he's my son pretty much. It's like
Yeah, and the worst part is Zatch and Key are like, we understand this is so sad. I'm like, no, you're both stupid. And save Danny and save Danny and like I don't know, throw that guy in the ocean. I don't care, but like, the thing that pisses me off is that a lot of fans are like, oh, I'm gonna miss Danny. I'm gonna miss Danny. I'm like, none of y'all are sad when I would be pissed. I'd be like, I like Danny, but I'm not sad that he's gone. I'm more pissed off that this is the way he went out, saving a statue from some asshole who we never see again.
exactly. And it's like now the guy who was guarding it is completely gone. It's like, okay. So now because most likely that guy was working for somebody else. So now the statue was stolen probably like a couple episodes later, and we just never learned about it.
Yeah, it was probably it's either you and your Mamoto or me and mine because we were both just pissed off that just pisses me off so much that you're just like, huh, this statue or my pseudo son? Ooh, tough call.
Now, knowing us, we wouldn't even steal it. We would just literally break in just to smash it on the ground and walk out.
Yeah, but just like you and the word, it's there are people on social media who talk about Zatch Bell, specifically the sequel, well, and they hate Mr. Goldo, and I'm like, oh, I finally found people who understand that this is bullshit.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I'll co-sign. I do remember, like this episode was just annoying as all get out because of that.
Yeah, but I don't talk too negatively about Zatch Bell on here, so I'm just like every dog has his day to get roasted, I guess.
Yeah, and he was one of those that's interesting because he doesn't go berserk when he powers up. Because a lot of the ones that get like transformation that powers them up in some way always seem to go berserk in
Yeah, and
Zatch Bell.
he was a good kid too.
Yeah, so there's just a lot with this. Like he was interesting, he was fun. Wish you were around a lot more, Danny boy.
Yeah, get a new partner next time though, seriously.
I mean, maybe that his partner passed away in the time period between these two, and so when he comes back, he can have his own. He can give his book to somebody else
That
who actually cares for him.
a little bit of a side tangent. That is something I wonder if you come back and your partner's gone because it hasn't been 1,000 years from Zatch Bell 1 to Zatch Bell 2. Do you just find a new partner? Is it blood? Do you just transfer the book to their next of kin? What exactly happens there?
I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of characters that deserve it more, in our opinion. I so
Yeah.
so
Yeah, but Danny Boy's goodbye, everybody else was sad about, but I was angry because Mr. Goldo can kick rocks.
yeah. All right, ready for honorable mentions?
Are we at honorable mentions already? Yes, we are. We can do it.
Yeah. All right. So this is one that causes me to skip the first part of the series every time if I do watch it over again. Now for me being accused of SA and the Rising of the Shield Hero.
A lot more essay talk than I'd love on this episode, but I guess it works for this video.
Yeah. Fortunately, it happens a lot more in anime than I think even I realized until I was thinking about this. But this one does, it's like, I know it sets up the story, but I will skip like the first two episodes if like the last time I rewatched, I started with episode three. Because I know the start. I know that part. I'm like, I don't need to uh rewatch it. And I started with episode three just so that I could skip over it and get to the part where I actually enjoy the series, where the characters I like are actually front and center.
I do the same thing with Gintama. Like I'll skip the first two episodes, but that's not necessarily the first two episodes are unwatchable, but it's more just like the first two episodes throw way too much at you, and then the third episode is, hey, this is the actual start of the series. He's like, but this just sort of seems like, wow, with everything going on, if I have to skip episodes that are actually plot relevant in the beginning of the series, where the first several episodes are what are supposed to hook you, and you're deciding to skip it, maybe the show isn't for you.
Exactly. It's just, yeah, I can understand why this was such a controversy because it happens in the first episode. It brings up a topic that I can understand both sides being very uncomfortable with the false accuse of SA, which can make people not believe others when it does happen. But I can also, and I also see the hatred that people get towards somebody who's committed it. So it's just,
It doesn't seem like anybody wins in that moment.
yeah. So again, it hurts both sides' causes. I feel like
Yeah, it's but
because
like,
of
and
how
you want to know you want to
it's
know
treated in this series.
yeah, you want to know what they should have done as he was being taken away and she did the whole thing. He should have been like, hey, look. They turn around like, what the hell? Did you lie to? Okay, no, get her out of here. Sorry about that. All right, so the season's over. Yep. That we're just done. Just like guys, just turn around
Yeah.
and you'll see her making that face. You'll understand why she's the bad guy.
And she just kind of continues being able to exist, which is annoying.
Yeah, I can co-sign though. I like I said, I don't think I ever want to watch the show because of that initial moment.
Yeah, and I can understand where you come from and not wanting to watch it because of this. That I think this is how I found the show. Was I it was put when it first premiered. It's like controversial new show premieres with uh which brings up this, and it was like a whole long article about like the problems with uh the start of the series.
Oh, now I definitely don't want it. I definitely don't want this. The show's gonna make me read.
Well, no, it was that was just how I found out about the series before it, like right as it was premiering.
Oh, I understand, but I can co-sign. No yeet to that.
Yeah. All right. So your first honorable mention?
All right, mine might be a little bit of a controversial one, but considering the series you started with, maybe you'll be able to help me out in this.
Okay.
Yamcha and Bulma break up. Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Okay, so look, I like Bulma and Vegeta? Sure. They helped to make Future Trunks one of my favorite characters. That being said, the way this breakup went about was kind of awful. Remember, when Yamcha starts, he's very nervous around women. He wants to find somebody who he can love and who will love him back. And for a while, it looks like that could be Bulma, only for it to be revealed that Yamcha's been cheating on Bulma, and that's why things just didn't work out between the two of them. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering Yamcha was the one who was nervous around women. Was the one who could barely talk to a woman, could barely form a sentence. while Bulma was the one lusting over every attractive guy she found, whether they were good, evil, indifferent. So the idea that Toriyama, as much as I love him, decided to say, "Oh, Yamcha's the cheater," doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and it makes me go, "I don't believe that." My unfortunate headcanon is that Bulma made that up, which whether Yamcha did it or whether Bulma lied, neither one of them look good because of this.
No, it really doesn't. I can co-sign. This throws away the development that we've gotten of both characters because, I mean, they both pretty much went after the Dragon Balls in the very first arc of the original Dragon Ball series. Bulma wishing to wish for a boyfriend and Yamcha wishing to have the confidence to speak to a woman, and they become that for each other. Yamcha becomes her boyfriend, and Yamcha gets the confidence to talk to Bulma consistently.
Yeah. And even when he dies, Bulma's heartbroken over it, only to be like, hey, the guy who, well, he did, look, well, like I said it in another video, Vegeta didn't kill Yamcha, but at the same time, that's a little weird to be like, hey, the guy who sent somebody to kill you is the guy is the guy I'm actively pursuing right now.
Yeah, and because it isn't it also kind of implied that they weren't broken up when Bulma and Vegeta get together for the first time.
So, somewhat, yes.
So it's like, even if Yamcha did cheat, you've now done the same thing before y'all actually broke up. So yeah, now you've got it going both ways, and yeah, you're now both bad people.
Say what you want about Chi-Chi, but when Goku was dead for that 1 year and then dead for that 7 years after that, she never once wavered.
Yeah, she. I think she always knew Goku was coming back, so
Yeah.
she.
And say what you want about Goku, but when he was dead, he never thought about anybody else.
Well, for fighting, yes,
Oh, well, yeah,
and that's his love language.
I have always said that that Bulma is Goku's work wife.
Yeah, and honestly, I could have easily seen them ending up together after in at the end of Dragon Ball because they did have that connection
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, and also Bulma is Goku's work wife and Vegeta is his work husband or actual husband. I never know anymore. But when even the voice actors came out and said, "Yeah, I don't know what I look, I love Toriyama, but even I don't understand the point of breaking up Bulma and Yamcha because they worked." Honorable mention because, like I said, I like Bulma and Vegeta, but just the way it went about, it genuinely upset me for somebody who's like, I don't care about romance that much, but even I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I don't know if there's somebody like they could like because launch would have been Tien with Tien. I just if he had remembered that launch existed. I mean, maybe 18 ends up with Vegeta instead of Krillin if in that series, but I doubt that happens. So I don't know if they could change it in any way.
I mean, there's a whole other I mean, it was revealed several decades later that there's a whole other universe of Saiyans. Maybe Vegeta finds somebody there who's around his age. But look, yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I like Bulma and Vegeta, but like they did, it made both. No matter what side you believe, whether it's Yamcha cheating or Bulma lying, nobody looks good. So that moment made me angry.
Exactly. And then it isn't necessarily realistic because if Yamcha did cheat, most likely the rest of the Z fighters would have pretty much turned on him. Like, because you cheated on one of our own. So there's aspects of it that's like unrealistic as well. So I don't really know exactly what happened.
The last thing I'm going to say, Toriyama, I love you so much. May you rest in peace. But you were not great with romance, but at least he was honest about it.
Yeah, his mindset was always on the adventure.
Yeah, but let's move on.
All right. So this is one that actually made me stop watching a show, and that's Tatsuya and Miyuki Shiba flirting in Irregular at Magic High School.
Oh,
I mean,
Jesus.
I've
Oh,
talked about how
Jesus.
I've talked about like how I think you knew that I was really looking forward to this series. I was like, it's one that seems really interesting. I'm really excited. And then
And
I
I was
started
actively telling you, hey, tell me what you think. I'm kind of curious, but you're about to watch it. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's cool.
I think it's episode 1 or episode 2. I don't remember which, but I got I get into this point and they're siblings and they start flirting and I was just livid about it. I did some research for this one and realized that there's supposedly like uh Miyuki, I think is the sister, is actually like a perfect being created for her brother, but so they're compatible accordingly. But it's like that since that's not explained from the start that they are actually like not siblings, but they are siblings. Again, because of all that, it's still gross, and it made me angry at a show that I was really looking forward to, and I've never been able to go back and give this show another shot.
Coming from the person who's like, take this as you will, has seen actual shows where the brother and sister have ended up together, I guarantee you that I would be a lot more livid at this if I had watched it. So that's another reason I'm like, no, not watching this. Not no, no, no.
Yeah, if it wasn't maybe if it wasn't like episode 1 or episode 2 and there was the buildup of maybe they like each other, but it's not like they're not that's not their main focus. But because it became like the main focus for like a major scene in the first few episodes, it was enough to make me angry enough to turn this off. And I mean, I think I may have like slammed my laptop shut and scared you a little bit
Yeah,
about
I do remember that's one of the angriest I've ever. I've seen you. I can maybe count on one hand how many times I've legitimately seen you like angry, angry. That was one of the few times I'm like, oh sweet God, I'm horrified.
yeah, because as I said, this was an anime that I was like looking forward to. I had planned that I was going to watch it, and then again, never gone back to watch it. And I hear it gets good, but I just can't get past this moment. So
I cannot, my friend, I cannot blame you. I co-sign. In regards to the type of anime, trust me, that's the last one on my list, and I'm gonna try my hardest to keep it together, but I cannot promise that.
all right. So your next honorable mention.
Gilbert suggests abandoning Bulbasaur, Pokemon Chronicles.
Okay.
All right, so a couple to editorialize a bit. I just got done with a rewatch of Pokemon Chronicles about a month or two ago. Oh, some stuff holds up, other stuff doesn't. This part doesn't. So there's a kid named Gilbert, and he's going to Professor Oak's lab because he wants a Pokemon. Now this kid doesn't start off great because he immediately says, "Oh, I want a strong Pokemon." And it's just like, no, the purpose of Pokemon is that you raise them and you grow stronger alongside them. Plus, if you have a strong one, it's not going to listen to you. You and through some shenanigans with Ash's Tauros, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle all get scared and scatter off, and they all have to go out and search for them. So Ash's Bulbasaur is also there. So he's trying to help. He Ash's Bulbasaur is helping alongside Tracy, Ash's mom, and Professor Oak. And there are a whole army of primates that are surrounding the baby Bulbasaur that's stuck in a tree. So everybody's like, oh man, we really have to make sure that baby Bulbasaur is safe because primates are known for having really bad tempers. Gilbert doesn't even pick up on this and he just says, oh, don't worry about my star Pokemon. I'll just take Ash's Bulbasaur and have it be my first Pokemon. And Tracy rightfully says, oh, first of all, that's Ash's Bulbasaur, not yours. Second of all, what? Are we just going to leave baby Bulbasaur to fend for itself? I know. The point of this is to show that Gilbert's a jerk who does eventually get better. But the idea of just deciding to abandon a baby among these vicious, aggressive Pokemon, to me, that's kind of a bridge too far where I'm like, wow, there aren't a lot of kids in Pokemon that I hate. He's one of them.
I only remember watching this one once, and remember thinking, man, if I was Professor Oak, I'd be going, oh, hell no. Taking, you're not a, you're, I'm revoking your license. I have every right to. You'll have to go somewhere else for your first Pokemon, but I'm not going to be the one who gives it to you.
I would just, no, at this point, I just will like, hey, Bulbasaur. Just whisper. Bulbasaur picks up the kid with Mind Whip, throws him at the primate. We pick up Bulbasaur. We just decide, okay, well, the kid, you can figure it out. You want strong Pokemon, you can have all of them if you survive.
Oh, it would have been absolutely hilarious if it's like Ash's Bulbasaur picks up Baby Bulbasaur, and just switches their places, and they all turn around and just walk away.
Let's go. And this kid, and look, I understand. It's similar to when you and I talked about that the Bellsprout episode with that kid being like, "I want Pikachu, not this Bellsprout." It's like you are coming off as way too cruel. Same to on about characters like Harley and Ursula, who are definitively bad people. They care about their Pokemon. Whenever their Pokemon do well, it's like, "Hey, you did really well." It's like, "Oh, my Pokemon are so much better than yours," which is kind of messed up. But you're still showing love to your Pokemon. This
Mhm.
kid's just an asshat.
Exactly. And he's not in that much, so it's not like you get a chance to see him like later on in the series where he's learned from this mistake. It's like he's just a jerk, and that's all he's known for being in the series.
Yeah, and that like look, I understand the point is that you're supposed to turn the kid around and show him the error of his ways, but like holy crap, that looks bad. I and you know it's bad that I can't like him because his first response is I don't really want any of the Kanto Pokemon. I want the Hoenn starters, which as much as I love Hoenn, even I'm like, dude, look, you're in the Kanto region. What the fuck do you expect you're gonna get?
Persian, I don't know why. Go work for Giovanni. He'll give you a Persian.
No, no. I feel like even Giovanni would be like, "Good God, what is wrong?" Look, no, look. I'll tell you what. I'll turn myself into president, but first we're dealing with this kid. And all in favor, everybody just raised their hand, like, "Yep, let's do it. I'm first."
Yeah, so I'll co-sign. I think I only vaguely remember this kid, but you triggered a memory uh of him, so I'm like just because I was trying to think of a Pokemon one and I could not.
Yeah, look, I'll say, Pokemon Chronicles after my rewatch, it's worse and better than I remember it being somehow.
Okay, all right. So my next one,
Go ahead.
all right. Uh, the Hashira attack Nezuko in Demon Slayer.
Okay.
So, pretty much the arc before this, they attack one of the lower moons and manage to survive and kill it with the help of the Hashira. But they find out that Tanjiro is traveling with his sister, who's been demified, but she's been proven, according to the ex-water Hashira, that she's got control of herself and she's not the monster like most demons become. So she is traveling in his backpack at this point. Well, they when they find out about this, they bring Tanjiro in after the battle. They pin him to the ground when, if I remember correctly, it's the Wind Hashira takes his sword and starts stabbing it into the box to stab Nezuko. Um, but it's like, and because she's a demon, she heals. It hurts, and the only way to kill her is to either let her sit in the sun where she'll burn to death, or they'll cut off her head. So literally, all he's doing is torturing her in this wooden box. And they've already kind of been explained to that while she is a demon, she's not. She's one of those that's still got control of herself. So it's just a combination of it makes me not want to like any of the Hashira because even those that you come to kind of like a little bit later, like Rengoku, and what's his name? Not Tanjiro, but I can't remember. He the Sound Hashira in the next couple arcs because of their kind of wacky personalities. They even seem to be like in support of like attacking her. It's like just the combination. And it's not until the leader of the core arrives and tells them to stand down that they actually stand down. So it's just it's like it takes you out of like, wow, these are the leaders that should be wanting to figure out what is up with her to like see if they can help save people rather than have to kill all the demons.
Do they know that she's able to heal herself?
Yes, because it's a common ability among all demons. If it's a wound that's not to the neck, they can heal it usually.
That makes them sound even dumber. So it's just like we're just gonna keep torturing. Like, but if she's able, look, I would understand if she was immortal and you were just hurting her just to hurt her. But if she's able to heal quickly, what are you doing?
Yeah, because I mean it's pretty much like if they stab, the wound will close up. And depending on the strength of the demon, it can be fairly quickly or can be very slow. So just the combination of stuff. it just makes me not really care for most of the Hashira at this moment.
It makes them also seem all the dumber in some cases.
And these are supposed to be the elite, like each one is supposed to be the master of their respective element that's currently running the Demon Slayer Guild.
Oh, Jim, jeez, yeah, I can co-sign, especially considering from the sounds of it, this is very early into meeting most of them.
Yeah, we've met at this point two. Well, three if you count the retired water Hashira I mentioned, but we've met the water Hashira and the insect Hashira at this point.
Yeah, I can co-sign. Good Lord.
Yeah. All right. Your last honorable mention?
All right. Shinbo hides a secret from Hideki. Chobits.
Okay.
All right, so after a while of Hideki going to school and meeting Shinbo and learning more about he realizes that their teacher has been kind of distant lately and she's been going through a lot. Meanwhile, he also notices that Shinbo has been acting a lot differently lately. Only for Shinbo to say, "Hey, hey, I'm leaving Sumomo with you, so have fun." And then when he finally gets a hold of them, Shinbo says, "Hey, I ran off with our teacher to get married," which, first of all, ill, okay. Hey, but you sense frustration from Hideki where he's like, "Hey, look, I'm happy for you guys in a sense, but you kept a secret from me. You couldn't have just brought me and talked to me man to man, been like, hey, this is what's going on. We could really use your help, but you just dump your robot off with me, abandon me, and then I I understand Hideki's frustration, and in a sense, it kind of makes me like Shinbo less, because Shinbo, while he cares about Hideki, he also kind of gives him a hard time in some cases. So, but you'd like to think that there's a bond and a respect between the two, only to be like, I'm just going to keep this major secret and kind of inconvenience you. The fact that he brushes it off kind of makes Shinbo look kind of like a jerk.
And I mean, that's kind of a large part of the show is that it's kind of forbidden loves because I mean, there's this one, there's some between the different persicoms and the people that or that bought them or use them. Just the combination of stuff I can co-sign. This one is just a little bit. It kind of feels out of character.
Yeah. And the really sucky thing is when after everything gets explained and they turn off and like they hang up the teacher Miss Shimizu's like, wow, he Motosuwa really is a kind person. I'm like, yes, he is. He's a lot nicer than I would be in this case. Hey, but then Shinbo just says, "Oh yeah, but he's so nice. He may never find a girlfriend and stay a virgin." I'm like, dude, I know he can't hear you right now, but the fact that you're still talking shit about him, even in a joking way, makes you look horrible. And then they proceed to, well, get busy.
Yeah. Do they even really show up again in the series after that?
They do. I mean, they do, but their worth is their worth from the series is kind of gone. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It feels like after that, it's just like, wow, I like Shinbo less, and then they show back up, but like just there's
Yeah.
nothing more to them at that point.
Yeah, because they don't I don't remember them playing any sort of significant role in the final like 3, 4 episodes
Oh
where they do the
shit,
final arc,
oh God, you're right.
which it's like, and these were two that were pretty major characters that had different relationships with the main character. It's like, I want to.
Look, I kind of meant it as a joke because I'm like, hey, Shinbo's kind of a jerk in this moment. But upon talking about it more, I'm like, I don't like Shinbo that much anymore. Or besides him, who's my next favorite character? The genius Minoru. He was pretty cool. He treated his Persicoms with love and respect. I liked him.
Yeah, and but he also understood that they were Persicom, so I don't know, it's just
Yeah. His
different.
his forbidden love was like, oh, he's replacing a Persicom with his sister, but it wasn't but they was done in a wholesome enough way where it's like, hey, you're not my sister, you'll never be my sister, but I still love the person you are, which I'm like, okay, I like that. And when he made fun of Hideki, it wasn't that bad. It's like, hey, I have a copy of my game, so I'll give it to you. You can keep buying games of that nature on your own time. I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny, but like, I don't know. It made me realize that shit. Even when he's trying to be a good friend, Shinbo, you kind of suck.
Yeah. And they're supposed to be kind of best friends, so it's like maybe you would have shared that with them.
Yeah, especially since you're dumping off Sumomo onto Hideki, and he can barely take care of one Persicon. What makes you think he's going to take care of two, and then later three?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah, I'll co-sign.
let's move on to your last one. Maybe your last one won't be so bad.
So this is one that it throws me off because I still struggle with like wanting to watch the show because of it. Uh, it's Byakuya Kuchiki willing to kill Rukia, even though he's promised to protect her through her sister. So uh,
Oh dear.
it just because we get the flashback that Byakuya married Rukia's sister, but then she died, and her dying wish was that Byakuya adopt Rukia to and protect her. And I can understand you can't always protect her, but then she ends up becoming a fugitive and getting arrested and sent to execute. But everybody else stands up for Rukia and tries to like Renji, her friends from the human realm, all step up to try to save her. He's not even willing to listen to the options. And then after that arc at Aizen, we're expected to turn around and respect Byakuya as a one of the like 13 strongest soul reapers in the world. It's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. I You should have been one of the ones that goes off as a bad guy because you are not a good person.
Yeah, and especially because from what a lot of people, I remember you telling me that a lot of people more or less kind of just accept it him as is, and you're the one person who's like, no, like this guy sucks.
Yeah, people really like him because has some really cool moments, and I'll admit they are really cool. And I know he steps up to try to like he helps with the giving Ichigo back his powers, and he's in every arc. But it's one of those that I know Rukia forgives him, but it's one of those like why
He hasn't
she
suffered enough to earn that he hasn't suffered or worked hard enough to earn that forgiveness.
yeah, and I know it's supposed to be because he's like the noble family and all that, but it's like no, he needs to re-earn everybody's respect and trust. It's kind of like Loxus in Fairy Tale that I've talked about before, where he betrays the guild, uh, makes them fight each other. Then he gets kicked out and like sent on his own journey. If something like that, like he's removed from being a captain because he wasn't willing to listen and look into and realize that this whole thing was a trap. And if he had turned around and then but then like Loxus comes back and helps save people and becomes a better person and proves he has. If something like that had happened with him, more than just like the like few times we see him and he still has the bad attitude, I would have been more okay.
Yeah, or even like when Chaz tried to ruin Bastion's chance of getting promoted, he left the school. He almost got stranded. It built himself back up by beating all of North Academy, but you still saw the pain in his voice when he's like when his brothers show up and he's like, Chaz, you have to keep winning. You can't lose. And it's like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for him in this moment. But this just sort of seems like it's like, you didn't suffer. You didn't even hear anybody out. You didn't even seem remorseful of it. But you're just like, we're supposed to forgive you.
Exactly. If there was just a bit more of him trying to earn the forgiveness and more emotion than what he shows, then I would be more willing to be like, okay, I can now forgive this. But even now, when we're in the final arc of the series, he gets a lot of screen time, and it's like I'd much rather it be on Renji, on Ichigo, on Rukia,
On
to
Chad.
go, yeah, any of them. It's just they're more deserving characters.
Yeah, I can co-sign. I can co-sign. Like that. I would be. I'm frustrated by it too.
Yeah. All right. So your final one?
Oh boy. Kirino and Kyosuke ruined Ruri's moment. Oremo.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to be projecting a little bit for this one, but I still think it comes from the right place in some cases. So one of the main character's friends, Ruri, she writes a comic, and it does really well. She sells all of her copies at a convention, and then they're like, "Hey, that's awesome! Let's celebrate! Let's celebrate! Let's have a party at Kirino and Kyosuke's house." Cool. But there's been some stuff going on in between. Hey, Kirino apparently has gotten a boyfriend. It's not actually true. She's just paying him to act as her boyfriend. It's a whole stupid kerfuffle. Well, but at the same time though, when they all show up to celebrate this party, Kirino stands up and says, "Oh, by the way, I have an announcement. I have a boyfriend." And this, for whatever reason, this pisses off Kyosuke to be like, "Why are you bringing this up just to hurt me?" I'm like, "What? Just to hurt you?" Look, I know the premise of this show is supposed to be a brother and a sister's relationship in the worst possible way, but you're now focused on how she's doing hurts you. And they bicker, they argue, and then they storm off. Meanwhile, thinking to myself, we threw this party for Ruri. Ruri's the person who, through all her faults, has made some success with selling this comic of hers. And you're both deciding to make it about you. You understand why in some cases these are horrible people who you can't root for. It's the to kind of preface this, it's the equivalent of you go to a wedding and you're happy for your friends getting married, only for somebody else to propose to their partner during the wedding. You took their moment and you made it about you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's already in a series that I know you struggle with. Like you've got it is, yeah. I can definitely see why this moment about could make this show just that bit more that you may have even. Did you stop at this point, or did you?
No. I was like, I had to power through because I thought to myself, if I ever have a YouTube channel, I can talk about this. Okay, I didn't actually think that, but I did think to myself, how much worse is this series going to get? Significantly worse.
It was one of those. It's like watching a train crash. You can't keep, or you have to keep watching. You can't just stop.
Yeah. And the worst part is like Ruri's like, you idiots decide to have this fight during my moment. Look, projecting a little bit, when I have an announcement, when I have good news, I like to think that people are going to be happy for me. Whether they properly showcase it or not, I can't really tell. I'm working on that. So if I was the case, I'd be like, nope, this friendship's done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you idiots. And there's another girl named Saori who's kind of trying to play peacemaker, bless her fucking heart, like she's a better person than me. Yet
Mhm.
they apologize to her and be like, "Hey, we're sorry for causing such an inconvenience on you." I'm like, "Look, I like Saori, and I would apologize to her too, just for being in this crappy show." But don't you think Ruri should be it? Like, be like, "Hey, we ruined your special moment. We're sorry. We'll handle our shit on our own time." Just to be like, no, just Ruri apologizes to Sari. I'm like, Ruri, you did nothing wrong. This is your
This was supposed to be your moment, and you're the one who's apologizing for being upset at them for ruining it.
exact. There's so much more I could say about this show, and Lord knows I'll probably do it until the sun burns. We'll probably be doing this podcast when we're 100, and I'll probably still be bringing up this awful show. But by then, if y'all are still around for that moment, I will love you so much. But like, you took a special moment and made it about yourself. And not only that, but you did it just to bicker with each other. Yeah, you both deserve to burn in the hottest layers of hell.
Yeah, I'll co-sign. I don't think I will ever give this show a shot, but I will, mainly because I've seen too many things from it that just make me go, no, I don't want to watch it. So
I've heard all the times YouTubers have been like, oh, well, on the coffee or the whatever, coffee, Ko-fi, or some people say Patreon, where it's like, if you give me this amount of money, then I'll review the show. That you guys want me to. And I respect that business practice, but then at the same time, I'm like, then I'd have to go back and rewatch it. And like, I like wholesomely enough, I like myself too much at this point in my life to put myself through that.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Now if it's like close to $1 million, then I might have to swallow it for that.
Sure.
Please don't ever donate that much. Please like give that to charity or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but like I said, you stepped all over a good moment for a character who also kind of struggles when it comes to self-worth and all the things that she tried to accomplish just for your petty bullshit. So, yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, you ready to wrap this one up?
I mean, in a sense, yeah, but yeah, let's wrap this up. So,
Okay.
Ladies, gentlemen, Nathan Seymours, what are some anime moments in your opinion that just take you out of the story and just make you rage quit?
Yeah. Did any of the moments we brought up take you out of the moment, or are there others that you know of that you want to share?
Yeah, and Frank, and look, for all of you who are like, I like when you guys yell. I like when you guys are more negative. I hope you got what you wanted. You sick, twisted people.
And go watch the other version of this, where it's the moments that made us angry, but we kept watching because it was a good angry.
Yeah, or also just watch any of our other videos. Well, not all of them. Some as much as I like our channel, there are some videos where I'm like, yeah, I don't have to watch that one. Go back and watch something else.
All right.
But be good to yourselves, be good to each other, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night.